Jurassic World Evolution 3 came out today, and to celebrate I asked you all your most burning need-to-know questions about the game. Exploring those led me to some very interesting new discoveries, including my possibly favourite build idea ever. So let's dig into your top 10 questions about Jurassic World Evolution 3. First, the big question everyone was asking over the last few weeks: do the Frontier variants have Frontier babies? Well, to find out, I brought together this mating pair of classic JWE Giganotosauruses and left them to do their prehistoric thing. One lonely egg, and a little while later, and out popped out a very spiky baby. Frontier variants do not have unique babies, they don't actually have sexual dimorphism at the moment. This is something I think we might well get in a future update because it looks a little weird at the moment, right? Hopefully this is something they've got in mind for the future. User QG4ST8IHID, sounds like it's trying to hack me, asked the following question. How do baby versions of unique skins work? For example, the 2001 Velociraptors with their quills and that unique skull shape. To find out, I made a few mating pairs of Jurassic Park 3 Velociraptors and once again left them to do their prehistoric thing. I was rewarded with a bundle of eggs and a little while later some ankle biter Velociraptor babies. They all looked the same morphologically, and interestingly none of them had the 2001 Jurassic Park 3 skin. So I made more of them. And then I made more, and then I made more, and then I made more, then I made more, then I made more. Tens of babies later, I didn't have a single juvenile Velociraptor with a 2001 skin. As it turns out, the juveniles never do. What Frontier have done is given the movie variants a Frontier skin that somewhat resembles it as closely as possible. So our Jurassic Park 3 female has a grey juvenile skin. And then when they finally mature, they morph into that movie variant instead. I'm not surprised this is the case given the vast number of movie skins we have, but again, it'll be another cool free update down the line to get some more directly movie inspired juvenile skins. That same user also asked if we can make natural lagoons with our terrain tools, and yes and no. With terrain tools, not really. This is as close as you can get to the walls of the lagoon with terrain tools, and you can't really edit the inside either. As you can see, we can get pretty close to the outside, but not really close enough to blend in per se. The only way to really make a natural lagoon is to use rocks to blend in the edges along with some foliage. Now I whipped up this in a matter of minutes, and whilst it never truly is going to look 100% natural, you can get pretty close I think. Your aquatic animals will even avoid the rocks you place as long as you've got collision turned on. I think if you made a gigantic lagoon you could get a little bit closer, but you're always going to have a ring of rocks around the outside. Here's hoping down the line we could get like a big mound of dirt as a scenery item that we can then place, blend it in a little bit better, even more so if we can then foliage paint onto that item. That would be incredible. Finally, from the same user, heavily upvoted, so I guess these were popular questions. Can you make aviaries taller or deeper with terrain tools? Well, outside of the aviary, you can get as close with the lagoons, and inside, as you can see, it's basically the same as Evolution 2, despite those much improved tools. Until we find a way to break the game a little, I don't think aviaries are going to be that different this time around. That did lead me onto my own question. How extreme can the terrain tools go? And it turns out, very extreme. So very extreme that capture mode itself can't handle it. You can place your aviaries up in the clouds if you choose to, or even more surprisingly to me, you can bury them halfway to the core of the earth. It is staggering how deep you can go, and shut up, no jokes. And I really have to credit Frontier with taking off the training wheels and just letting us go absolutely crazy with the possibilities here. My desire to make a underground park is getting pretty extreme, and for very good reason, as you'll see in a couple questions time. First though, a question from DinoBoy885. Can you contain pterosaurs in custom aviaries? Let's find out. I birthed a Quetzalcoatlus, not personally, that would be strange, and promptly annoyed the bejeebers out of it so it would break free and try to eat my guests. Pausing the game, I then constructed a rock wall around the pterosaur and then a rock roof to block it in, making sure collision was turned on of course for all these pieces. Unfortunately, didn't really matter, and the Quetz flew out like nothing happened. I tried again using more dedicated architectural pieces and the same thing happened again. It seems the pterosaur has some code somewhere that means if they aren't within an aviary, they aren't bound by collision. Feels like something again that we might mess around with eventually, but that did lead me to my favourite question of today. Fuster96 asks, Can you make bat caves? Oh boy, you can make bat caves. I made another aviary and contained a quetz within. With breakouts turned back off, I covered it somewhat messily, I'll admit, in rocks, and lo and behold, already a nice dark aviary. There's a gap here and there that I'll fix as we go along, but even this was really exciting to me. Evolution 2 never looked like this because the lighting wasn't real in a way, it was kind of faked. It didn't react to roofs and the like, it wasn't blocking any sunlight, it didn't create natural darkness, even if you used mods to raise rocks around and stuff like that. Now, even in the middle of the day, in broad daylight, you can make a pitch black exhibit. The problem is that the lights don't know that. They don't detect darkness around them. They're either on at night or off in the daytime. I would love an always on toggle for the lights so we can turn them on even when it's daytime. Planet Zoo has this, so I don't see why we can't get it. But in the meantime, you can finagle this a little bit by using torches instead. There's a couple different torch items and they have flames that light up even in the middle of the day. Let's shift to nighttime though and light it all up properly, and oh, there we go. I've fallen in love. I'm going to suggest you don't use the aviary viewing galleries for this because at nighttime they get this quite obnoxious glow that you can see here. But if you use, say, the viewing dome instead, you can get these really incredible scenes. Feels like it's from a cryptid horror movie or something like that. I think people are going to make some amazing looking stuff with this mechanic thanks to those new lights. And this right here is why I'm so excited to make like an underground park. I think it could look superb. Sum41 fan 1989, same generation. Is there a damaged building toggle? Unfortunately not this time around. The new modular building system probably makes that pretty tricky. I did want to find out from this how building damage works with this new modular building system, and I think I know how. So basically there's a bunch of items in the game, all your modular building pieces, and it's mainly electrical pieces, but also things like the big roof pieces for the innovation center. And these pieces, when broken, start to flame or spark and stuff like that. Now this only happens if they're attached to a module. You can get these very basic modules you can then decorate how you want, like amenity or innovation center. And these are modules that can break down over time if not maintained by your vehicles or if hit by storms. If that happens and they're in a group together, then they don't need to be directly attached. As you can see, I've got many breaking items all floating, disconnected physically from the broken buildings, but they're in the same item group. So basically, as your module gets damaged, the game looks at it, looks at all the breakable inverted commas items in the group, and just picks ones to set on fire, essentially. It's going to be interesting to try and build a list eventually of all the items that can break, because then we'll be able to control just how much our modular buildings reflect the storm damage. RayB313K6V asks, can you use terrain to build bridges for your vehicles? You could use terrain, but it's not going to be a bridge, it's going to be a flat ramp. Other than that, unfortunately, not really. The new modular items do make this an enticing idea, but the vehicles seem coded to basically stop dead as soon as they hit a modular item. Again, this feels like something we may dabble with over time as lots of hands get on the game doing silly things, but from my brief experimentation, you can't just straight up make a bridge anyway. What you can still do is the monorail trick from the last game, where you can have monorail tracks kind of sunk down into the terrain, so they're more like trains and stuff. That's pretty cool at least. And finally, from Nate Fletch, is Big Tree back? Truly the most important question, but alas, it is a very sad no, I'm afraid. Despite our wanton cries, Big Tree still dies. I'm going to put that on a bumper sticker. We pray one day our love will return to us, but in the meantime, we can make this clearly beautiful and very well designed homage to our glorious leafy leader. Okay. We might be able to do a little bit better than this. I have no doubt Big Tree will be rebirthed by the community when everyone gets their hands on the game. So there we go, folks. 10 burning questions about Evolution 3 answered. The Batcave style builds in particular is very exciting to me, and of course you don't need to stop with aviaries. There's no reason the same thing wouldn't work in regular habitats and even lagoons. Really exciting possibilities there. Throw me a like down below if you enjoyed the video, stick around for lots more Jurassic World Evolution 3 in the eons to come, and I'll see you lovely folks very soon. Cheers, much love as always, bye bye.
Road.